Welcome everyone to the third session of our International Symposium. My name is Sarah Olson. I work with the Office of International Programs. I'm very pleased to be introducing our panel today. It starts with CSU students, the international and intercultural events on our campus and in our community. Our panelists today include Francisco Wilcox, Senior Instructor of German, Chisato Steele, Instructor of Japanese, Lorella Paltrinieri, Senior Instructor of Italian, Zach Rowinski, Instructor of Russian, Nick Barnard, Instructor of American Sign Language, Edward Sarasti, who's a graduate student in Spanish and TEFL, Jose Francisco Gallardo Montenegro, a graduate student in Languages, Literatures, and Cultures, Frederic Grimm, Professor of French, and Oliver Woody, President of the Chinese Language Club. So we'll have 50 minutes for this session, and we'll have some time for Q&A. And I just want to make it sure everyone's aware at the end, there'll be, when the session ends, you'll find a link to a short survey that we'd request that you fill out, please. But with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Frederic to introduce the rest of this panel. Thank you so much and have a great session.
Well, thank you very much for being here today, and we appreciate your presence and your interest in what we do here at CSU. So we just wanted to give an overview to people on campus of what we do at CSU in order to bring the world to our students through the language clubs. And so we're going to present each language that is represented here. We're missing a couple still. So because we do have 10 languages in our department that we offer. And so we will start with ASL, a very popular one right now. So this is exciting. So, and if you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A and we will try to answer them as it goes, but otherwise we will eventually. So thank you.
Yes, hi there. First of all, I want to say what a pleasure it is to be involved with such a strong group of fantastic teachers here in the LLC department. It really is an honor to be a part of 10 different languages that are offered here at CSU. So if you don't know about us, please check into it and get involved. So starting out with American Sign Language, hello from our club. We do have officers who run the ASL Club, and those are all students that have taken the courses here at CSU. We do offer a minor as of just a few years ago, so that is an exciting addition for the ASL department. What we do is on Wednesday nights, we have what's called a silent coffee chat. That takes place over at the Starbucks on College and Prospect. That's from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's every Wednesday, unless something comes up and we have to cancel that. So please feel free to come over and just take a look at what we do there. Really, it is a place to meet some deaf community members who attend. Also, it's a kind of a chance to practice the skills that are being learned in the classroom and then applying those to kind of a practical real world environment. That's always a fun time on Wednesday nights, and it is no voice. So everyone who is there has to sign and cannot use their voice. So that's always a cool addition, kind of brings some fear, but also it really immerses you into this beautiful language. We also do offer different events throughout the semester. The club will show a movie or two during the semester to come. We have the sound off to really have a sense of what it's like for a deaf person to watch a movie and read captions. There's some other events as well. Here pretty soon, we're having an international hearing dog institute that's coming in to teach about how dogs are trained to work with people who are deaf or hard of hearing at home and out in the community. So that's a cool event that's happening. Also, every fall, there is a silent weekend that is offered up throughout the state. So it's really kind of, you have to buy your tickets pretty quickly. That takes place in Estes Park, where people get together. It's a no voice environment for the whole weekend. And we have had some ASL Club officers who have attended that in the past. So that's a super cool place to go and really just practice your signing skills for an entire weekend. So that's always fun. As you may see on the next slide there, people think that ASL is signs all across the world, but it is not. ASL is American Sign Language that is specific to America. In Mexico, they have a different sign language. In Japan, there's Japanese Sign Language. In Australia, there is Auslan, which is the Australian Sign Language. So the cool thing about learning ASL is that we are kind of equipping you with skills so that you can meet deaf people here in your own community. I've had students before in class that worked at King Soopers, and there would be deaf customers that would come in, and because they know sign, then a deaf person can come in and feel more welcomed, comfortable and welcomed whenever they go into their neighborhood grocery store. So that is a cool little thing about ASL, is that you don't have to fly anywhere. And if you did fly somewhere, they use a different sign language. So whenever you're kind of out in your community, you can go ahead and use the skills that you're learning in class, and then honing as you go to the ASL Club events. So that's a pretty brief snippet on ASL Club. We would love to see you and just have a great time today learning about all the different clubs here on campus.
Hi, I'm Oliver Woody. I'm the president of the Chinese Language Club here at CSU. I am a third-year student. As you can tell, I am much younger than most of the panelists here, which may be a little frightening for me, but I'm very excited to be here and share with you guys. So my club is the Chinese Language Club, also known as Zhongwen Hui. We're a real tight-knit group of Chinese speakers across campus, composed of people taking Chinese classes currently, people who've taken Chinese classes in the past, people who are just interested. We host a whole wide array of events, which really strive to bring people in and help, first of all, reinforce like the speaking of the Chinese language in our students who do know the language, as well as kind of share Chinese culture with the campus. So a couple of the events we host includes the Intercultural celebration, which is really just a really fun, great party for our international students from China who are graduating at the end of the semester. So we would ask Chinese students to invite their international friends to come to this party, and we have a great time. We play games just to celebrate and congratulate all of our graduating Chinese speakers. We play a language game day, again, with international students. We come up with all sorts of fun language games as a big group. We love to do Chinese movie nights. We do a calligraphy workshop where our professors, Changshu and Junshu, both do a great job at teaching or trying to help us learn the correct stroke order and the correct posture for calligraphy. We do a lot of mahjong game days, especially over the pandemic, inviting anyone who loves the game to come play. It's a really fun and relaxed environment where you can just play or learn how to play mahjong. Our pride tends to be the dragon dance, which we haven't done in a number of years due to the pandemic, unfortunately. But generally, in the homecoming parade, we have this great, beautiful dragon, and there's pictures on the next slide. But we all wear great outfits and do this incredible dragon dance, and we've won best parade float about 6 times, I believe, in the past. So it's just a really great opportunity to come get some energy out. You'll be sweating by the end of it. You'll be just running around carrying this big heavy dragon, but it's a great time. Like I said, Zhonghe is a really tight-knit community. We all know each other pretty well, but we're always looking for new people to come and hang out and learn and have fun with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. Yeah, we appreciate you talking in for the Chinese club, even if you are the youngest. We're young too, but it's all right. We won't take it personally. The French club, we also do quite a bit. A lot of the activities have been relatively, I don't want to say similar, but we have the conversation groups, either on campus or virtual. We've actually decided to keep one occurring a month virtually so that the advanced students can chat with each other without anyone else. So they've enjoyed that part. And it's been for decades, like a couple of decades probably, but we like to have cultural guests that come and share about some specific topics that they bring to us. So this semester, we actually try to recruit students from CSU who are native speakers of French. We had somebody from France, and we're going to have somebody from Senegal in a couple, actually in a month or so. And then next week, we'll have somebody from Lebanon. So that's kind of exciting to see also students participate and present. And in a couple of weeks, we'll have our annual Mardi Gras fashion CSU Dutch Club and French Club event, which has been online last year and this year will be online again. But normally it's a pretty big event with games and costumes and food. But this year we'll have to, we decided to just wait one more year. One thing that I think we've done, and it's pretty recent, and again, it was triggered by the pandemic, but it's been a positive thing. We discovered a university in France that was looking for conversation partners. And so now we have about, I want to say almost 20 students from CSU who spend an hour every 2 or 3 weeks with a French student. And for 30 minutes, they speak each other's language and share cultural topics. So for 30 minutes, they talk in French about France, and then for 30 minutes, they talk in English about America. So it's pretty exciting. The students have really enjoyed it, and there's no professors involved. It's really student-led. And actually, last semester, we started last year, and last fall, we had a student in France from CSU, and he met his partner. So that was pretty exciting. And others are building some strong relationships. We've also done a few things such as picnics and going out to a restaurant, and I'll show a few pictures in a bit. One thing we've done, I think, that has been good for the students is to show awareness of others in the world. We do bake sales typically twice a semester. We've done it once last semester, and we'll do it one more time. But half of that money that is raised goes to the Mwanjadi organization, which is an organization that helps girls in the Democratic Republic of Congo to get a scholarship to go to school one more year, because schools are private in that country. And if the girls don't go to school, very often they end up being married, even if they're 12, 13. So that's kind of giving them an extra chance to keep going to school. So it helps our students also to be aware and then do something for others in that way. So I think that's something special. So I just was going to show you a few pictures. Yeah, and it's pandemic and or not, we were very active. I guess that's what I want to say. Here's just list of what we've been doing, and the one on the right is the one it's the one this current semester, as you can tell. It's a lot. The officers have been great. So we have World Unity Fair. There's a few of our clubs that participate. And I saw that we have one in April, so we can be there in April physically. So that will be fun. We do painting class and cheese tasting and restaurant and the Mardi Gras pictures of on the second row. And that's with the German club. It's been fun. And one thing that was fun this past 2 years is we've done cooking demo online. So for those who know Madame Hoffman, she's been our chef and she's been doing the cooking demo using Zoom. And it's been awesome. And she's so much fun, even though she's turning 78 and she's just full of energy. And we're considering keeping doing that because students are like, oh, I don't know if you want to come on campus, and we like to do it from home. So we might keep doing it on Zoom, we'll see. So that's what I wanted to show you. And I think we can keep going to the next club. Thank you for listening.
Hello, everybody. My name is Francisca, or Frankie Wilcox, and I'm a faculty member, specifically within our German section. So I have been the faculty advisor to the CSU German Club for about 15 years now, as well as the organizer of the conversational group. So the German Club, also known as Deutsch Club, and the conversational group known as Stammtisch. And so much like Frédéric just mentioned, some overlap, of course, as far as activities go that are cultural based, but an event that, you know, is unique, or I should say a few to German Club, is what you see there as far as the bulleted list goes, the hiking weekend. So we had started this, gosh, about 12 years ago now. So this is now an annual tradition where we go and we stay in Summit County. So the hike itself is in Breckenridge. And so we have lodging for the weekend in Summit County. Of course, this past year we were able to do it. The year before, during COVID, we were not. We were going to do outdoors, Horsetooth Rock, and then the fires happened, and 2020. Enough said about that. But fortunately, we're able to bring this back now, and we, of course, go on a hike. It's a 7.5 mile hike in Breckenridge, and we cook German food. So I buy all the food in advance, and we actually, that's the only bake sale fundraiser we use to fundraise the hiking weekend, which includes German Club officers, myself, and German students. So it's kind of first come, first serve basis. We play board games, we watch a German movie. So it's really fun, and it's really fun for me to get to know my own students better. Yeah, so many bake sales. Exactly. Fundraising options are always a little bit tricky on campus, and a lot of paperwork. But yes, and so we were able to have that going, which is really great. It's always so fun, and students look forward to it. The Oktoberfest, again, is a cultural component. We've collaborated for, gosh, several years now with the Loveland Oktoberfest, and they've been really great in letting us have a booth there. So we just get to have an informational table and just spread the information, like, hey, we're CSU German Club, we have this conversational group. So mainly to draw in community members. We also have every first and third Wednesday of the month at 6:30, we have a German Club meeting, but that's followed by our conversational group from 7 to 8 p.m. And that's always been a Prost Brewing for the last few years. However, they're changing locations and going back in the Wild Boar Coffee building, which is where we were prior, but it's not open yet. So just for your own information, we'll be at Illegal Pete's just because it was the same building as Post, the same location essentially, until they reopen. So twice a month, yeah, we present cultural topics at our meetings, and then those who want to stay and just engage in conversation in German are able to do so. And that's where we get more community members, which is really neat because they also tell us about their own experiences. Film nights, same thing. We also have German film nights and potlucks, separate from the film series that we host through the department. It's just mainly for German club members and officers. Fasching Karneval, so as Frederic already mentioned, that's usually in the Ramskeller Live in person. This hopefully will be the last year that it will be in Zoom, spreading the culture. World Unity Fair. Yeah, we usually have a German beverage food item that we sell there, and then the proceeds go to the German Club Study Abroad Scholarship. So as far as I'll get back to that in a second. I think that's the next slide. Field trips, we have annual field, well, I should say biannual. At the end of each semester, we take a field trip to this really great German restaurant in the Denver area. And, you know, students, roommates, family members, everyone is welcome. And then the neat thing is in the fall, we get to, heading into the winter, combine it with the Christmas market in Denver. So also walk around, so it's kind of nice. So for the next slide, just some of the fundraisers and community service. Another thing that's unique to German Club that we do, it's called trick-or-treating for cans. So it's a take for kind of on cans around the oval. So students meet at my house, and my neighbors now already expect them. So we collect non-perishable food items rather than candy, and then we donate all of the food items to the local food bank, to Larimer County Food Bank. And we usually get anywhere from 100 to 200 pounds of food donated just in one night of trick-or-treating, 1 hour or so. So that's kind of neat. And the fundraisers, last but not least, for the t-shirts, that goes to the German Study Abroad Scholarship, which we haven't been able to award just because of, again, the pandemic, but hopefully starting at the end of this semester, we'll be able to award just money to offset the expense a little bit to students studying abroad. And then the last slide just shows some pictures. And as you can see, the top left is the RAM Welcome. So that's right at the, typically, you know, as it used to be at the beginning of each semester. The hiking weekend, as you can see, is the next one, Oktoberfest, trick-or-treating for cans, where it says Halloween, all the students dress up. The Mardi Gras, bottom left. World Unity Fair would be the second one. And then in the center is the big German restaurant field trip we do in Denver. And Germany Night at the International House is that very last picture where we get dressed up and spread the German culture. So that's it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lorella Paltrinieri, and I'm the advisor of the Italian Club. I've been also the president over the years. I've been doing different roles because I've been teaching at CSU for quite some years. Our club is fairly small, and I mean, our program at CSU is fairly small, so our club is fairly small as well. And the activities we do are basically, I think each of you who presented before me already said more than whatever we might do with the Italian Club. But our precedents change basically every semester or every year because of small program and a few classes. And for example, this semester, the president of the club, Jacob, lived in Italy for 2 years. So he has a good touch with the Italian language, had quite some experiences in Italy. And he created a plan for the club, which is based on games and board games, like we do Pictionary or board games nights, or we do like food nights occasionally. We have conversation with him or with me if I'm there too. I mean, we basically do standard, I'd say standard things that clubs do. When the pandemic was not around, we had our top event at what was the Italian cuisine night, and we had events where we prepared all 5 meal courses of Italian foods. This was definitely great. Online, we have reduced this into like typical Italian recipes, but not exactly involving nice as being all together and preparing all those Italian meals. Our club is also conversation, sometimes help with homework for students. Occasionally we have students who studied abroad who do presentations about living in Italy, cultural presentation. We do gestures also as part of the Italian culture, not only American Sign Language. So yeah, and we do those things together, but I do on my own without the president of the club. I do and I present the Italian film nights, and those are, it depends, again, they can, last semester I had one basically every 2 weeks, so it was an intense one. This semester is about 3 or 4 movies during the whole course of the semester, and there are movies about, they deal with culture and with special aspects of Italian life. We, as I said, we are small as a club at CSU. There is another, there is a language group that meets in Fort Collins, not necessarily affiliated with CSU, although I'm part of that too. And this one is mostly open to the public. And this club is also organizing conversation groups at Mug's coffee shop in Fort Collins every Saturday morning from 10 to noon. And this club also has a club or organization, this sister organization also has activities like dinners in local restaurants and activities they do. They play music. I mean, it's not exactly CSU, but it's something that serves the community of Fort Collins as well. I'm done. So thank you for listening. Oh, goodness.
Okay, hi, I'm Chisato Steele. I'm a Japanese language instructor and advisor for Japan Club. Another Japanese instructor, Sayuri Collins, is also a club advisor. We have about 60 students registered as Japan Club members as of today. And we often do events with JSA, which is Japanese Students Association. Due to the pandemic, there are only a few Japanese students from Japan on campus this semester, but typically we have quite few Japanese exchange students every semester. So we are hoping that there will be more Japanese international students next fall. And joining the Japan Club is possibly the easiest way to get to know people from Japan and also anyone related to Japan. Club members consist of CSU students, but Japanese people from Fort Collins community occasionally join our events. And also we, Japanese instructors sometimes join the meetings as well. And the club helps with our department events, such as calligraphy workshops and the Japanese conversation table. We have bi-weekly meetings. Time and dates are not really set. It really depends on members' schedule, but typically on Thursday or Friday afternoon. Meetings are in person, but during the last summer, the club had some online meetings using Microsoft Teams. And we do various cultural activities. In the past, we had Japanese movie showing, karaoke night, kendama, which is like a traditional wooden toy, and origami workshop, mochi making. Mochi is a sweet rice cake, and many others. And I would say almost always, quite often, I should say, there are some Japanese snacks during in-person meetings. We do virtual activities also, such as game night. And I am not too familiar with the Discord, but that is what they use for their game night, and the students really enjoy that. And the club also offers homework help, homework assistance for students who are taking Japanese courses at CSU. Many of our officers and the members have taken Japanese classes before, and they are helping students who are taking first year and the second year of Japanese courses. Okay, next slide, please. And here are some pictures of our activities in the past. And the picture on the left is the flyer from the last semester. So we're not going to have the meeting tomorrow, but as you see, you'll get to try some tasty Japanese snacks. The middle top picture is not from our actual meeting, but I borrowed it from a free picture site. But we had daifuku making activity. Daifuku is a rice cake with a sweet bean paste in it. It's really tasty, I think, but some people really hate it. So it's either you really like it or not. So, but if you never try it, you should try it at least once. One of the current officers, Jared Davis, I don't know if he's participating right now, but who is a senior student and also I believe engineer major, is really a good cook. And last semester he made karepan, which is a Japanese curry bread, and brought those to the meeting, and that was fun, great. So if you are interested in Japan or Japanese culture or Japanese language courses at CSU, joining the Japan Club is a great way to cultivate your interest. You should be able to find the club information on the CSU website. And also, if you like to see our current club activities, please visit CSU Japan Club Facebook page. Thank you.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Зак Рывинский. Я advisor русского клуба. Oh, hi everyone, my name is Zach Rywinski. I'm the advisor to the Russian club. And let's see, we're on the first slide already, so we can already highlight the club has an Instagram page, which is an interesting development from the last year or so. This was a student initiative to start using social media as a way to spread the word about our fairly small club. And it's been rather successful. And so while we're on the subject of student initiatives, that's really an important aspect of the club. I started out here only a few years ago, and as I arrived, I really wanted to make the club student driven. And so there are a couple of things when I talk through our events that will highlight ways in which students are really setting the agenda for the club. And I really am an advisor in the sense of giving suggestions, helping bring things together, sharing some of my own ideas, but really it's the club members who are choosing what we're focused on. So some of the things that are important about the Russian program here is that, kind of like some of the other languages have mentioned, it's a fairly small one. The Russian program does offer an interdisciplinary Russian minor that involves coursework in the Russian language, literature, and culture that also allows students the opportunity to kind of choose what the rest of the program will look like. So they can take courses that are related to Russia, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, that all have to do in some way with something to do with Russian culture, that they're choosing how that comes together. And that kind of interdisciplinary spirit, I think, carries through the club's events. So one of the things that we do is participate in the International Film Series. And this has been a long-running thing at our university in the Department of Languages, Literatures, and Cultures. Students are very much, very deeply involved in choosing what films we show and things like that. And we really try to bring in and bring together lots of things that are happening across campus. So when I'm teaching an introductory course to Russian film, then we draw films from that. When other departments are using Russian film in some of their courses, then the Russian Club might say, hey, some of us are taking this Russian history course, we're watching this film, why don't we include that in the series? We also have a conversation group that meets every other Wednesday at 6 p.m. And we've been meeting in person this year. We had met online last year. And so for the last few iterations, we've been indoors, but seeing as it's already summer outside, practically we're going to be outside for those meetings soon. Another student initiative in the club was cooking nights that are happening once per month. Blini are Russian pancakes that are made at any time of year, but they're especially strongly associated with Maslenitsa, which is the kind of celebration of the end of winter. Blini are like crepes. They symbolize the return of the sun in the older pre-Christian Russian tradition. So the cooking nights oftentimes are a potluck, but this coming time we'll do a tutorial on how to make blini. We also try to connect with the Denver Russian community, which is more significant actually than I realized before I moved to Colorado. So the Russian Club has sponsored trips to the Red Square restaurant in Denver, and they oftentimes couple that with a trip to the Eastern European grocery store. You may have seen some of the Russian Club on campus, like outside the LSC. You might have gotten some Russian candy from them at some point. That probably came from the Eastern European grocery store. And we have other types of cultural events. One thing that we're really excited about is the band Molchat Dama playing in Denver in May. They're a Belarusian post-punk band that kind of blew up on TikTok a few months ago. And now they're doing a tour that includes some American dates. They happen to be in Denver. So this band has really caught the attention of the club. It was their suggestion, and it kind of also illustrates how our horizons go beyond the contemporary Russian Federation. Another really important aspect of the club is connecting students of Russian in our program with heritage speakers of Russian. There are a lot more heritage speakers in Colorado than I had realized. There are native speakers of Russian on campus. There are native speakers and heritage speakers in the CSU and Fort Collins communities. And this is a really important aspect of the club. Frederic, if we could go to the next slide, we'll just look at some of the Instagram posts and some of the photos that have come from events. So yes, right. I couldn't help myself. In the international film series, the Russian film Heart of a Dog is up tomorrow. So everybody's welcome to come to the international film series. Heart of a Dog is a really phenomenal novella initially. This is a screen adaptation from the 1980s that was made by one of the premier late Soviet and early post-Soviet directors, Vladimir Bortka. So it's an interesting story about kind of the shifting of culture in the 1920s, featuring a mad scientist in a kind of Frankenstein-like plot, with a lot of humor along the way also. So that's happening tomorrow night at 7 p.m. By way of closing, I want to quote from an email that I received from the Russian Club president. I asked them to select some of the images that you see on the slide right now and ask them what they think about internationalization and the club's role in internationalization. And so the president of the Russian Club, Willow Sauer, writes, the club allows students a space to explore other cultures, art, cinema, food, language, and other parts of the culture. Oftentimes, international students or first-generation students belonging to that culture find a lot of comfort in language and culture-based extracurriculars. For example, last semester, some had shared that the Russian Club was the first time that they had felt a sense of community since coming to CSU. So I think Willow put it really well. Some of the ways in which all of our clubs are engaging with students and bringing people together, creating connections. So I'll stop there.
Hello, everyone. Hola. My name is Jose Francisco Gallardo. My internet connection isn't stable. I hope you can hear me. I am a first year master's student at CSU, and I'm GTA teaching Spanish this semester. And along with Edward, which I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. We are the only doubles here.
Yeah, I can do it real quick. Hi, my name is Edward, and I'm one of the GRAs in the L languages, languages, literatures, and cultures department. And yes, as Jose said, we're working on this together.
Okay, so Edward and I have been contributing to a student-led initiative, which is this Club de Español, the Spanish Club. And we have been brainstorming over the last couple of weeks about what we can do to grow the club and the CSU and make it so that the community is involved in the club. I think Spanish is a very significant language in our culture in Colorado, the US. So some of the goals that we have planned for ourselves is to attract new members and increase the turnout that goes to the club. And to do that, we have really put an effort into adding some dates to the club. So instead of meeting once a week, we're going to propose to the officials, because everything has to go through this is student-led club. So we want to make sure that the president, vice president, and the officers are involved in every decision that we make. These are more suggestions more than decisions. So to increase visibility on campus and involvement, we would love to add a date and maybe perhaps meet twice a week rather than just one, just so that students have more opportunities to be involved with the clubs. Say, as of now, the club is meeting every other Tuesday on campus at 6. And some people might have a lab at 6. So what we're doing is adding an extra session. And in that way, Edra and I and other GTAs of the program, and any person really that feels that they want to contribute to the club, we can provide our perspectives and what we know as culture. I am from Ecuador, Edward is from Colombia, and yes. So to do so, we are working on a survey to pass out to the people, to the community, in order to know what would be a working schedule. And we have come up with some themes that we would like to see, not like to see, but we would Spanishes of the world. So we're probably familiar with the Spanish being a language has an insane amount of dialects and accents and different regional differences. So Spanish of the world, myths about Spanish, playing in Spanish. So basically, kind of summing up what a lot of the speakers have said today, playing in Spanish, and with that also gastronomy of Latin America, because it's what we know. And also something that we got from a recent survey that we did in a class with Frederic was that a lot of students in CSU are very interested in learning Spanish for their professional development. So we thought that having a professional outlook on Spanish would be very helpful for our students. That being said, lastly, we want to visit Spanish clubs, Spanish classes to promote the club, and also point out that the Spanish club does meet every other Tuesday at Tecate Grill, which is a Mexican restaurant on Elizabeth Street here in Fort Collins. Edward and I are trying our best to be there every Tuesday to be involved. And with that, I will let Edward continue.
Yeah, thank you. So as Jose said, the Spanish club is kind of divided into parts, the one that is student-led and the one that is kind of done by the GTAs. We are in charge of those cultural sessions every 2 weeks. And so for those, we have some ideas in mind that we want to share with the with the president and vice president of the club, so that we can work together and we can make them possible. So these are some of the gears that kind of make or as we plan to do that will make work our Spanish club. So we see it as a cultural exchange opportunity in which, for example, students in the master's degree, I'm from Colombia. Jose is from Ecuador. We also have Shadi, who is she has some heritage. I mean, she's from Nicaragua and she grew up in Canada, but she speaks Spanish and she knows about Nicaraguan culture and stuff. So we want to bring this to the club, and at the same time, we also want to learn from like from the American culture and also from CSU culture. And in the case of students from who are heritage speakers, they can also teach us there about their cultures. So that's how we see it. We see it as a melting pot where we can do incredible things. As Spanish in the US is I mean it works differently than in any other parts of the world, and it's such a unique opportunity that we have, and we want to make kind of take advantage of it. We also see the club as a way to offer language support. Since we're doing a master's degree in Spanish, we're learning about how the language works and functions. And so we want to kind of bring some of the theory that we learn in the classes to the club and help students with their assignments, homework projects, or any, let's say, language doubts that they have. We also think that bringing to the class some guest speakers that can help us on those topics that we're not really experts on would be a great idea. So that's something that we have there as a plan to build community. We see that as I said before, the Spanish is the second most spoken language in the US. So we can build a great community that can integrate students from CSU, but also faculty, staff, and community, and members of the community of Fort Collins. Also, since we recognize that heritage speakers are crucial and for the club, they can bring all their experiences and perspectives to the club. They could work as leaders in our club, and it would be a good way to raise awareness on some cultural aspects of not just the language, but also social and political issues that we could kind of explore in the club. And finally, the whole purpose is to practice Spanish, to make it visible, to kind of put the spot on Spanish on campus, and to kind of say that is important to everybody.
Thank you very much, Edward and Jose, and thank you for all my colleagues who've really been awesome in describing all the different activities. And really, we wanted to show how dynamic the departments of languages, literatures, and cultures has been through the clubs and trying to bring the world here on campus, not just for students, but for the community. It's one question I had is it limited to, to students? It's really for everyone on campus or in the community. Our clubs are free. If people are interested in the language, they just need to contact us. So I put the departmental address in the chat. If somebody, yes, the languages.colostate.edu, you will find information about this movie series that we have this current semester. So most of our languages are represented here. And then you will also find information about the different clubs or who to contact. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. The movies, so in Italian, Lorela says the movies are in through Zoom for her this semester. But other than that, the other ones would be on campus, depending on yeah, what you're interested in. So if anybody has questions, I will stop sharing my screen so that we can see a little bit. And we don't see any one of you, so I think if you want to just ask a question, feel free.
And we actually are at time for our
Okay.
session,
Okay, so feel free to, I'm going to put my email address in case you want to be in contact with one of us. You just tell me who you want to be in contact with, and I'll put you in touch. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
And thank
special
you
thanks
to
all
all my
of our-
colleagues.
Yeah, special thanks to all of our panelists today. It was very interesting to hear about all the different activities that are taking place. I wanted to just also remind everyone that there'll be a short survey if you could take that after the session ends, and that our sessions are continuing throughout the next couple of days. Our next session is at noon, and we hope that you can join us there. That one's called Bringing the Lab to the Kids, Cultivating Transnational Indigenous Solidarity Through Science Practices. So thank you again to everyone. I appreciate your attendance, and we hope to see you at future sessions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.